The Russian government revealed its most secret weapon this week. That's a map of the Bering Strait joining the United States and Russia. It was included in the secret Soviet KGB files on the Kennedy assassination, which were delivered to Representative Anna Paulina Luna on Tuesday. The project was called the Kennedy-Khrushchev World Peace Bridge. Only a few documents from the previously secret Soviet files on the Kennedy assassination have been translated from the Russian. They were delivered to Congresswoman Luna by the Russian ambassador to the United States. Luna chairs the House committee, which is looking into declassifying our nation's political secrets. Despite the language barrier, all the usual Kennedy assassination experts are spouting their theories about whether the documents are authentic and whether anything from Russia can ever be trusted. And as usual, they are missing the forest for the trees. It's the Kennedy-Khrushchev Peace Bridge, which is important, not some new tidbits about Lee Harvey Oswald in Russia or Mexico or LBJ's suspected complicity in the assassination. Kirill Dmitriev heads Russia's sovereign wealth fund and is very, very close to President Putin. He has repeatedly said that this project's revival is at the center of U.S.-Russian discussions about new economic relations after the Ukraine war ends. In his most recent post, he says that Elon Musk's Boring Company is the right contractor for this tunnel project. It would now be called the Trump-Putin Tunnel and join the U.S. mainland with Russia. But its ultimate endpoint would be in Africa and the far reaches of Asia based on new rail and city building projects across Russia and into Asia. Here's President Trump torturing Volodymyr Zelensky with this project in the Oval yesterday.
This came up yesterday, a tunnel from Russia to Alaska. That's an interesting. What do you think of that, Mr. President? Do you have any ideas? How do you like that idea?
I'm not happy with this.
I don't think you're going to like it. I don't think he liked it. I don't think he liked it.
We know that the Bering Strait project was part of the previous Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska. We covered it extensively back then in August. I'm Barbara Boyd, and I'm the co-author of the ebook, A Police Dossier. It's the British who murder our presidents. You can get it by following the link in the description. Today, I'm going to first talk to you about what happened this week in President Trump's divine mission for peace. Then I'll discuss the Bering Strait project and why it is a huge clue about why JFK was assassinated. To the shock of the globalists, Trump started the week signing peace agreements in the Middle East, the cockpit of forever wars for centuries. In Egypt, he put world leaders to work on the immediate task of rebuilding the destroyed Gaza Strip. Europeans, Indonesians, all the Arab states, Pakistan, are being tasked by Trump to build rather than endlessly pontificate their positions on world issues. How fast they start building will determine whether the peace holds. By the end of the week, Trump was busy solving the modern British Empire's other war in Ukraine. The sick Europeans, the Ukrainians and their allies here have campaigned for weeks to drag the United States back into this war. Their instrument this time was a proposal for the U.S. to provide Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine for strikes deep inside Russia. These missiles can't be used without direct U.S. involvement to run them. On Thursday, President Putin initiated a phone call to President Trump. That call lasted 2.5 hours and focused not only on ending the war, but also on the unparalleled economic opportunities peace would bring. Russia is determined to develop the last frontier on the Earth, the Arctic. Creating a land bridge between the U.S. and Russia and parallel rail and other linkages through Russia to Eurasia will make shipping of goods infinitely faster and cheaper. Development of the Arctic's vast reserves of essential minerals can fuel modern economies for years to come. It was agreed in Thursday's call that within the next 2 weeks, Trump and Putin will meet in Budapest, Hungary, to seize the opportunity for peace, with Zelensky also participating. Now, When Zelensky arrived in Washington for his meeting yesterday, there was no customary high-level entourage to meet him. That cold shoulder was a signal for what was to come. He left with no tomahawks or other weapons, and a mandate from President Trump to seek peace. Here's what President Trump posted about it. The meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine was very interesting and cordial, but I told him, as I likewise strongly suggested to President Putin, that it is time to stop the killing and make a deal. Enough blood has been shed, with property lines being defined by war and guts. They should stop where they are. Let them both claim victory. Let history decide. No more shooting, no more death, no more vast and unsustainable sums of money spent. This is a war that would never have started if I were president. Thousands of people being slaughtered each and every week. No more. Go home to your families in peace. Right after the meeting, Zelensky called Ursula von der Leyen from the EU and Mark Rutte from NATO, his current war-crazed globalist managers, to convey the bad news. Now, before we go on, if you like and have been watching our videos, please like and share this one. It increases our reach on YouTube. In our ebook about the British killing our presidents, we point out to the fact that Lincoln, McKinley, Kennedy, and Donald Trump all share one characteristic. They practice the American system of economics invented by Alexander Hamilton. Those policies led to the United States becoming the most powerful economy in the world each time they were practiced. In JFK's case, that meant he favored great infrastructure projects and space exploration as the means to create a prosperous economy decades from now in the future. James Douglas wrote the book JFK and the Unspeakable. It's the book which RFK Jr. says it presents the best account of why his uncle was killed. If you correctly understand the why of this event, you're well on the way to proving who did it. Douglas documents how the Cuban Missile Crisis, bringing the world to the very edge of thermonuclear extinction, transformed both President Kennedy and Premier Khrushchev. Kennedy went from being an enthusiastic Cold Warrior to a man bent on creating peace. He opened secret back-channel negotiations with Russian Premier Khrushchev aimed at securing the peace through economic development and other joint projects. Douglas thinks that's why he was murdered by what we now call the deep state. I can't find direct evidence that Kennedy and Khrushchev were discussing the Bering Strait project in their secret back channel, but it certainly is consistent with what James Douglas documents about those discussions. It's also consistent with John F. Kennedy's Great Projects orientation. The North American Water and Power Alliance project is just one big infrastructure and water management project Kennedy was looking at. It would bring water down from the Arctic through Canada to a series of water management projects in the United States, and it would cure the perpetual droughts which plague our West. But even more significantly, if the Bering Strait project was built out to its fullest, all the way to Asia with rails and new cities springing up around it, it would completely flip the Anglo-Dutch Empire's game plan for controlling the world. That game plan centers on two things: reabsorbing the United States into the modern British financial empire and conquering and controlling Eurasia. That's why for them, killing or neutralizing both Trump and Putin is a necessity. Now, Trump and Putin have declared war on the globalists and want a world where sovereign nation states develop their own economies and cultures to the fullest and highest degree possible for human beings. Both of them believe that humans have a divine calling to participate in God's continuing creation. The modern British financial empire, on the other hand, believes that humans are no more than animals to be herded and culled. Their awful world is what all of us have experienced in the United States since 1971. That's when Richard Nixon destroyed the Bretton Woods system and launched the so-called post-industrial society. That's what Donald Trump is uprooting root and branch. And once again this week, President Trump and President Putin showed us that the best laid plans and traps of the globalist elite get blown away by men whose creativity and will are intact. The oligarchy puts its scripts out and then recites them to us over and over again. But neither Trump and Putin will put up with their plans for forever wars and managed decline. Empires traffic in fear. Nations worthy of the name build. If we choose building, bridges over bombs, industry over ideology, human creativity over managed scarcity, the board flips. That's the real secret everyone's missing. So I think I can safely say that this video presents something which nobody else can provide you. It's the result of our years of work covering both Russia and the United States. But we need to expand both our staffing and our reach if we're going to win the current battle for our republic.